Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Higurashi manga review. We're looking at Himatsubushi today, and this is a really quite cool mini question arc chapter. It feels quite odd because we're seeing rather than looking at obviously everything that's going on in 1983, we're looking a few years back before all of the dam construction related murders had happened, and obviously before the dam construction had been stopped. And it was really nice to re-experience this story because I don't remember it the most, so it's just nice to be able to remember it again. And I think what I really like about this story is the art style. This is probably my favourite artist yet who has made the manga, and what I really like is in between each chapter there's a little illustration of characters involved. Sometimes it doesn't really have much relevance to the whole story, but I just think it's a really nice touch. And also this is a really cool little illustration of all the characters that we see at the end of the manga as well. And it's really cool, honestly. So for the actual story itself, I think there's not too much to say about it compared to the other arcs, but there are some key points on the mystery that I think this story does really well. So firstly, before we get into the mystery, just going into Hinamizawa, I love how we just see it from a completely unknown perspective, and we just see characters like Mion especially do things that we never really thought were possible, and we just see totally different interpretations of these characters in different lights as well. And it's really funny with Mion in particular because I remember that time when some thugs were just trying to pick a fight with her and Akasaka saved her, and it's kind of this theme that her and Rika have of being totally different depending on the situations they are in. I mean, Mion, when she was caught by all of those thugs, she was totally defenseless, and then when she's in Hinamizawa, for example, she's leading these massive protests, even though she's like 10. Well, not really leading them, but she has a significant role in them. And yeah, it's just so interesting to see the hostility of Hinamizawa, because ultimately it is hostility towards the government. I mean, a lot of these people, they are just trying to do their jobs. It's not their fault that these measures are taken. But at the same time, so obviously they are being arseholes because of it, but at the same time it really strengthens the theme of the community surrounding Hinamizawa and the fact that they would do anything to protect their village. And kind of like, I think it was Audio saying that like the village is kind of like their mother. They would never ever want to harm it in a way. And yeah, it was just nice to see just how much Hinamizawa can do from another perspective, really. And I loved Oishi's character as well, because at the beginning, I've always, ever since I've been rereading Higurashi from the manga, I've really got to realise just how much of an arsehole Oishi is. I mean, in Onikakushi, really good example. He literally, if it wasn't for Oishi, that plot would have never happened. For Tatari Goroshi as well, I mean, I remember when he was totally intimidating Keiichi when he was looking for Satoko. He was being so unnecessarily violent. And then in Himatsubushi, he gets Akasaka to a mahjong parlour and he tries to take him for all his money. They gamble for money, which I think I remember reading that it was actually illegal for people to do that, and yet a police officer is literally doing that very activity. Wait, no, actually, I don't think it was gambling for money directly, but I think it was Akasaka has to spend his own money on something he doesn't want to spend it on if he loses. I think that's what it was. I remember Oishi talking about bunny chans and ridiculous shit like that. But yeah, it's just, I love their connection. It was done really quite nicely, and also the discovery of Akasaka's secret, and just that scary thought of everybody watching him in Hinamizawa as well. And I suppose when the plot develops as well, we've got the really quite nice battle with the mountain dogs as well, and we've also got Rika as well. I think the mystery is so well done because firstly we see she's predicting the future. Obviously the incidents are planned, so then why didn't she predict the gas disaster, and why didn't she predict how she was going to die as well? Um, I suppose there's also the question of just at the ending, because you really think that there could be, if the incidents aren't planned, then there really could be a possibility of the supernatural occurring. But then obviously that possibility of the supernatural occurring is kind of made less likely when you realise that she didn't predict the gas disaster and didn't save everybody, for example. I mean, and what's quite nice about that is there are just so many mysteries, and it's just so funny in Higurashi because the question arcs, they have so much mystery you have barely any idea of how the hell they happened, and then you just get more mystery on top of that. You're just totally overthrown with mystery, totally overwhelmed. And yeah, Rika's character is really quite cool in this as well, because I will never forget that time when obviously Yukie had died and she was cutting all of the phone lines just so that Akasaka couldn't find out, and it was just because of the fact that I suppose she kind of wanted him to enjoy his time in the village, and obviously you're in scenery like that, you don't want to learn about something as awful as that while you're there, I suppose. And yeah, I will never forget just Oishi telling Akasaka, and then him totally breaking down as well. But yeah, what my point was is yeah, it was interesting with Rika's character how she kind of switches between herself and Burn quite a lot, and it was really funny just seeing her doing anything to make it so that it didn't seem as if she had cut the phone lines, and being really innocent and just making Akasaka, even though he's one of the people at the elite squad, well, he's a public security elite, and yet he didn't notice any of that, just because of how well she was hiding it. And I mean, there are so many things that just really point towards just this plot being very, very unusual and odd. And yeah, overall, I think Himatsubushi was quite a nice read. Obviously, I don't think it has nearly as much interesting material as any of the other question arcs, but at the same time, though, it is a nice story to re-experience, and Akasaka is a really nice protagonist as well, and I really love the detail at the end with well, just how it ends, how him and Oishi collaborate, and yet they still don't find the truth. But after all, I think if you don't know the mountain dogs, and if you don't have any idea of where to look because of the fact that you don't know them, then it's going to be very hard to find the truth. And it depends on the access of information you might have as well. Because I remember, I don't know if this is a point that I can say, but I swear it's in one of the advanced story arcs, maybe, I think it's like the end of Yoigoshi's console arc, where Tomoe finds the truth after everything has happened. She actually finds the truth about what the mountain dogs have done. And then obviously it's really, really awful for her. So I just wonder if it would have been possible if they had access to said information. But yeah, I don't know. I just love at the end though seeing how Akasaka is totally haunted by this, and the realization as well that firstly he didn't go back to Tokyo, and secondly with Rika too, well, she didn't want to die at all. She was praying not to die, and that analogy about her throwing a stone in the water so that you didn't see the moon's reflection, and the moon obviously being an indication of death, I suppose. Yeah, that was just an indication that she didn't want to die, and Akasaka couldn't see it. As always, she said it's because he's a greenhorn. Gotta love that insult. Oh, I'm gonna be so excited in the answer arc seeing Oishi versus Otaka as well. Oh, that's gonna be so cool. Anyway, next story is Yoigoshi, which I think might actually be one of the most interesting manga arcs because of the fact that it's very different, I've heard. I don't know what's happening because I think Miyuki isn't involved in this story, which is sad. I really like well, Miyuki is in Akasaka's daughter, ironically. I don't know if she's involved. I don't think she is. Let me just research it actually. Yeah, it doesn't look like Miyuki's in the manga, which is actually a real shame. But I hope that the story is going to be good. The thing is, I think Yoigoshi in the visual novel is really good, but there are some flaws. Some really, really bad flaws, in my opinion. So I just hope that the manga version is going to be a little better. And what's nice about this manga arc as well is it's not a full story that I've experienced before, and it's kind of like it's using the same base idea, but it's different in a way. And the same's going to apply for what I'm going to read after, which is Onisadashi. And yeah, I'm excited, honestly. I'm going to also read it using the console arc OST as well, which is going to be quite cool. I've got the console arc OST just in a playlist, and I'm just going to try and get the most authentic experience I can. To be honest, with Himatsubushi, when I was listening to music while reading the manga, there were just a lot of question arc themes that didn't really fit. So in the end, I did actually begin reading it while listening to the console arc OST anyway. So yeah, I'll probably do the same for Yoigoshi. And then we're on to the answer arcs, which is going to be fucking exciting. I mean, Naakashi, Tsumi Horoboshi, in particular, those ones are going to be amazing. I'm a bit overwhelmed by the length of Matsuri Bayashi and Minagoroshi, but yeah, hopefully it won't be too bad. They are going to take a fucking long time though, seriously. But yeah, I'm excited, and I will see you guys next time.